In a small, quiet town where cobblestone streets were lined with humble houses and open fields, lived a young boy named Tom. Tom was a teenager, slender with tattered clothes that barely held together. His family, though poor, were honest and hard-working. They survived on a modest farm where they grew vegetables and raised a few chickens. One sunny afternoon, Tom was walking home from the market, carrying a small bag of groceries, the result of his family's small earnings.
As he made his way through the deserted street, he noticed a well-dressed man walking ahead of him. The man wore a tailored suit that gleamed in the sunlight, his shoes polished to perfection. Clutched in his hand was a pile of crisp paper notes, an unusual sight in Tom's part of town. Tom watched in amazement as the man, seemingly oblivious, dropped the paper notes one by one behind him as he walked. Tom's heart raced. He knew what those notes meant: money, something his family desperately needed. But he also knew the right thing to do. He placed his bag of groceries carefully by the side of the road and began to pick up the notes. "Sir, sir, you're dropping your money," he called out, his voice echoing in the stillness of the street. The man, however, did not seem to hear him and continued on his way. Tom's attempts to get his attention were in vain. Determined, he gathered all the notes he could find and ran after the man. But the man walked briskly, and despite Tom's best efforts, he couldn't catch up. The man's elegant figure soon disappeared into a grand estate at the end of the road. Panting and with the money clutched in his hand, Tom approached the estate. He hesitated at the gate, a little intimidated by the opulence. Just then, a gardener, an older man with a grizzled beard and dirt-streaked clothes, emerged from behind a hedge. "What do you want, boy?" he asked gruffly. Tom, still catching his breath, explained the situation. "The gentleman who lives here dropped this money. I tried to return it to him." The gardener eyed the money greedily and with a sly smile took the notes from Tom. "I'll make sure he gets it," he said, stuffing the money into his pocket. Tom watched, a bit unsure, but trusting the man's words, and then he turned to leave. Unbeknownst to both Tom and the gardener, the rich man, Mr. Harrison, had been observing the entire scene from a window in his house. He had intentionally dropped the money to see what would happen and had been impressed by Tom's honesty and determination. But now, witnessing the gardener's deceit, he felt a surge of anger. Later that evening, Mr. Harrison called the gardener into his study. "Where is the money the boy gave you?" he demanded, his voice cold and firm. The gardener stammered, I spent some of it, sir. I thought it was a tip for my hard work." Mr. Harrison's eyes narrowed. "You were to return it to me? That money belonged to that honest boy who tried to return it. You have stolen from both him and me." Unable to account for all the money, the gardener was dismissed on the spot. Mr. Harrison, still fuming, vowed to make things right. He decided to find Tom and reward him for his integrity. The next morning, Mr. Harrison set out to locate Tom. He asked around the community, describing the boy and his actions. Eventually, his search led him to a modest farm on the outskirts of town. There, amidst the clucking of chickens and the scent of fresh soil, he found Tom and his family. Tom was surprised to see the man from the day before standing at their gate. Mr. Harrison introduced himself and explained what had happened. "I saw what you did yesterday. You tried to return my money, and I am deeply grateful for your honesty. That gardener will no longer be working for me. This money is rightfully yours." He handed Tom a bundle of notes, much more than what the gardener had pocketed. Tom's eyes widened in disbelief. His family gathered around, astonished and grateful. "Thank you, sir," Tom's mother said, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "You have no idea what this means to us." Tom's father, an old man with calloused hands, insisted on giving something in return. Please accept these 2 chickens and some fresh produce from our farm, he offered. Mr. Harrison hesitated, humbled by their generosity despite their circumstances. I cannot take this, he said, but the family insisted. In our culture, it is important to reciprocate kindness, Tom's father said firmly. Reluctantly, Mr. Harrison accepted the gifts, his heart warmed by their spirit. As he drove back through the village, he pondered on how best to honor this unexpected gift. He soon came across another poor family in need, struggling even more than Tom's. With a smile, he handed them the chickens and the produce. These are from a kind family, he explained. They have shared their blessings with me, and now I share them with you. The family's eyes lit up with gratitude, and Mr. Harrison felt a sense of fulfillment he hadn't experienced in a long time. It was a reminder that generosity and honesty could ripple through a community, touching many lives. Back at Tom's farm, the family celebrated their good fortune. The money Mr. Harrison had given them allowed them to repair their home, buy new clothes, and buy better seeds for their crops. Tom's act of honesty had not only brought them immediate relief, but also a brighter future. Tom learned a valuable lesson that day, one that would stay with him forever. Sometimes, doing the right thing brings unexpected rewards, and kindness, like a seed, grows when it is shared. Mr. Harrison, too, learned that wealth wasn't just in money, but in the connections and goodwill forged between people. And so, in that small, quiet town, a simple act of honesty brought about a chain of generosity, changing the lives of not just one family, but an entire community. Tom often thought back to that day and smiled, knowing that even in the simplest actions, there was power to make a difference.